Hi, I'm Abby McHugh-Griffa, Executive Director of the Climate Solutions Accelerator, with 3 very quick updates for you today. First one, a huge thank you to everyone who came out to the Climate and Community Investment Act rally this past weekend downtown. It was cold and it was wet, but we had a great crowd, a very enthusiastic crowd, and it was just heartwarming to see that kind of support for this important piece of legislation, even on a relatively miserable day. And thank you not just to the people who showed up, but also to the organizers, Alan Blair, Katie Rigg, John Keevert. I'm sorry if I missed anyone who should be on that list. But without the work that they did as volunteers, we would not have had the opportunity to convene. So thank you to everyone who participated and organized that event. Oh, and if you maybe weren't able to make it, or if you feel like you just don't know as much about the Climate Community Investment Act as you would like to, I would invite you to do a bit of research, because you will likely be hearing more about this bill over the coming months. And it is a very important legislation that will hopefully fund climate solutions in New York State. But if you remember back to the last legislative session, there was a lot of misinformation going around about this bill. And so it did not pass last year. But if we all educate ourselves about what the real benefits to the community of this bill are and are prepared to talk to our friends and neighbors and colleagues and elected officials about that, I'm confident that we can push it over the finish line for this legislative session, or this coming legislative session. So please, learn a bit about that and start having those conversations proactively, and call your elected officials and that kind of stuff. Second item on my list is an update on our collective impact work. We've gotten a lot of input over these past many months from the community about what the vision is, right, for how we're going to achieve carbon neutrality in our region by 2050. And now we're taking all of that input and really kind of crunching it down. I shouldn't say we, because it's not me. It's our data manager and our colleagues at the Stockholm Environment Institute are taking all of that and putting it into real numbers. And there's some important considerations here, right? Like when we think about transportation sector and transportation emissions, we know where we need to get in terms of greenhouse gases, but the how to do that, there are a lot of different considerations. So for example, if we prioritize electric vehicles over public transit, over active transit, what does that mean for equity? What does that mean for our economy? What does that mean for our health? So we want to find the right mix, the right balance that will both get greenhouse gas emissions to where we need it to be and also maximize the co-benefits to our community. And so that's the work that's happening right now, mostly behind the scenes. So I have nothing concrete to show you at this point, but that will be coming early 2022. We'll have something out for the community to review and reflect on and provide some feedback. Okay, and last on my list, oh yes, we are hiring a manager of organizational programs. We are very, very excited because having this person will allow us to ramp up the work we do with organizations to support their transition to clean energy and engagement in climate solutions locally. So if you know anyone who has kind of the right skill set and the right interests, please do share that post with them so we can get the best possible pool of candidates and hire the right person for the job. And that is the end for me today. Have a nice Thanksgiving coming up here in a couple weeks. Thank you for the work you do to promote climate solutions in our region.